Hey guys, the Firebird is here, and oh my god, M nicely likes to spam me a lot. Like,
Okay,
seriously.
it came out on Thursday. It shouldn't have taken that long to watch it.
I'm really busy with school, and this guy's pinging me like 24/7, asking me to make
Alright,
a
let's
video with
moving
him.
on, moving on.
Alright, so, if you're here, it's because I just uploaded the KSI, consciousness video. So, you're either here because you either like Pacific Rim, or you're here because I told you to come here after I uploaded that video, in which case, doesn't matter. We're gonna be talking about Pacific Rim the Black, not in a racist way. Right, them nicely?
Not in a racist
Why
way.
is it called the Black, though? I don't think they ever say it, like...
No, I'm pretty sure they just said it's... I mean, maybe it's something like blackout in Australia. I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing, but, like, they never, like, straight up say, hey, this is what the Black means.
Alright, so... Before we start talking about it, obviously there are going to be spoilers in this video.
Well, duh. I mean, if you're here, you either already watched it or you just don't care. So, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be going through 6 topics in this video. The characters, the story, the tone, the action, the new stuff that it adds to the world, and the overall universe. Pretty much
So
just
his
meaning...
idea, so if this video bombs, it's on him.
Okay, I thought up the topics after I watched it, because they're pretty basic things.
So I guess we should start with the characters then.
Characters,
we have actually
yeah,
quite a small cast now that I think about it.
Should we talk about the Jaegers and the Kaiju in this category?
Fine.
I mean...
Okay, listen, I'll make it clear. I don't like the kaiju designs in this scene. I mean, some of them look fine, but a lot of them look very generic.
Well, there is one thing that I definitely liked when it came to both Jaegers and Kaiju, and that was Apex, I think it was called.
I just call him Darth Maul because of the color scheme.
Yeah, it's the Darth Maul color scheme.
Yeah.
So, basically, for those of you who haven't watched it and don't care, Apex was one of the drone They said Apex was one of the drone kaiju during the quote-unquote uprising war.
That's a stupid name.
Yeah, it's a stupid name, but that's how they connect it to uprising.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Copperhead was alright. Like, he wasn't a standout kaiju, I just thought he was fine.
Yeah, Copperhead was fine, but no, one thing that really made me mad when I watched it is, you remember when they were in the Kaiju graveyard where they met Apex?
Yeah.
So, they'd literally just gone through 3 Kaiju remains that they saw, which were Slattern, Leatherback, and
I think it was
Mutavor.
Gunner. Oh, Mutavor. Oh, yeah, it was Mutavor.
Yeah. And...
How did they get there?
So they... we'll talk about it in a bit. It relates to a different topic. But when they referenced those few, and they went up to the breach, and you see these tails coming out, I thought they were going to... I thought they were going to show an actual Slattern in the show,
And then you were disappointed.
Yeah, I was so disappointed.
Okay, now for the human characters, I thought the siblings were fine. I didn't find them annoying or anything. I thought they were fine. They were well.
They weren't the most. They weren't like the most generic. They weren't the most interesting or generic people in the world. They were just harmless for the most part.
Yeah. The assassin chick, May was her name. I thought she was also fine.
I kinda liked her. I mean, I imagine that her life before the actual show took place is pretty much gonna be the equivalent of Wanda Maximoff in the MCU. But we're probably not gonna hear about that.
And as for
we do get some of May's we do get some of her backstory,
which is related to our main bad guy, mustache twirling white-haired
Well.
dude. I forgot his name.
Shane. It was Shane.
Shane, yeah, him.
He was an over. He was a serviceable love-to-hate character.
I thought he did his job pretty well, actually. Like,
Yeah,
I was just waiting for them to smash him, but it never happened.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Shane and the characters topic, let's talk about Joel.
Who?
Joel, the technician guy.
The guy with the weird helmet?
The one that escaped.
Oh, okay, now I know what you mean.
Yeah,
The guy with the
his
glasses,
face.
you mean?
Yeah. Okay. I liked him. I thought he was pretty good, but
The way he went out, I wasn't expecting that, actually.
Yeah, that's the point. That was like I just had to pause and mentally recoil from what just happened.
Like, as
When I
soon
saw
as
that.
Shane said that I always leave an insurance, I was like, he's gonna kill him, isn't he? But it still got me by surprise.
When he said that radios have an insurance policy, I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be every other thing. It's got a tracker in it, and they're gonna send a squad to kill them. But nah, the blows up and kills Joel. I did not see that coming.
Yeah. Actually, we should probably move on to the story now. I mean, we'll talk about Boy a little later.
Yeah, he's kind of tied to this section, I guess.
Okay, as for the story, this felt very self-contained, actually. Like, we're in a small section of the world, which I know that's the point, but
yeah,
I'm surprised how self-contained it was.
I feel like it doesn't feel like nothing's revolving around it. Like I guess it feels like other things are happening that isn't just related to the main characters. Like those, like how Shane was talking about these other black market guys, I guess.
I think he was talking about the cultists, the people with the ropes at the end.
Yeah, like, I was like, are we just not gonna follow up on the fact that he just shot the kaiju eggs? And then we see the 3, or I can't remember how many it was, girls at the end in the robes that said, the kaiju messiah has come, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, the kaiju cultists is like, I'm pretty sure that's something that dates back to the first movie that they followed up on.
It got introduced
because
there.
like I remember Hannibal Chow in the first movie said something like, these people think the kaiju were sent from heaven, and Big Man in the Sky is just showing his displeasure with our behavior.
They were looking the wrong way.
Yeah, they said it was sent from heaven, but they were coming from the ocean.
The story was mostly like our main characters looking for their parents, and then they just found the boy. Then they got captured.
They kind of leave it up in the air as to if they're alive or not, too. Like,
I'm pretty sure they're gonna be alive. I'm pretty sure for season 2 they're gonna find them.
It kind of seems like they died in the Jaeger, but we don't actually see the bodies, so that means they could have survived. But then again, they would have went back to the place, wouldn't they? So they're probably dead, right?
Yeah, but I think they're gonna come up with some excuse, and that's gonna justify them not showing up for 5 years with the milk they said they were gonna get.
Oh no! They might say something like the PPDC found them and took them back.
If anything, this story leaves a lot of questions open, like, what's the deal with the Darth Maul looking Jaeger? What's the deal with the mini kaiju? What's the deal with the boy? What's the deal with all the stuff? I was expecting answers, and for the most part, like, they were unanswered, which I think that's being saved up for season 2.
For the most part, I think this show actually does really well at piggybacking off of Uprising.
Wow, yeah, actually you're right about that. Uprising was really mediocre for the most part, and this, surprisingly enough, was quite decent, actually.
Like with Uprising, it's like I liked it, but that's mostly because I was just mostly going into it for a fun time, and I got the action that I wanted to see. So I liked Uprising just for that. But this is like this has an actually good story with it. And
It reminds me a bit more of the first Pacific Rim movie with the story, you know.
Yeah.
If you look back at the first movie, there aren't that many fights. There are fights, and when they do happen, they're really good, but the story's like center stage.
when you really think about it, this, like, Pacific Rim Uprising and Pacific Rim the Black kind of, in a way, add to the tragedy of Stacker Pentecost and Chuck's death, because they sacrificed themselves for nothing.
Hey, we can say the same thing about the Star Wars sequels. Okay, listen, we need to move fast, because I don't want to stay like an hour of it, editing all of this.
Alright, okay.
Anything else about the story? It's actually pretty simple when you boil it down to it, but that's not a bad thing. I thought it was alright.
Yeah, I think keeping the story simple leaves more space for character stuff.
Yeah. Okay,
because you won't have to spend as much time explaining it.
As for the tone of the show, I was actually surprised that we had so much death in the first episode.
Yeah, one guy literally gets eaten by a kaiju. That's not... No!
You know, when I saw Taylor talking to this chick that had like sort of like an army uniform, like I was expecting her to be one of our main characters, so I was really surprised that she got killed off in the same episode. I was not expecting that. To
be honest, with going back to that situation, it looks like they looked at the guy down the cliff like they knew him, but I don't remember who he was. But
I'm pretty sure he was just some random guy that didn't matter for us at least. Also, lots of people die in this show, and sometimes not even to the kaijus. Sometimes it's just other humans.
We've already talked about Joel, and I'd like to not think about that again. But, who else died? The two guys that came for Taylor Boy and Haley. That was her name, right?
Yeah, those two guys died. I think they overpowered the first one, and then May had to show up and just deliver the killing blow.
No, they didn't overpower him. With Richter, they had to... Well, he was about to shoot them, but Boy just hit him over the back of the head with a stick.
Yeah, and then May shot him.
Taylor looked like he was about to shoot him, but May just shows up saying, "You don't have to do this," takes the gun, and then shoots Richter, like...
I'm actually kinda glad she did, like I still have been stupid to let him just keep on living.
It probably would've.
Yeah,
but,
it just
like...
complicates things. Also, as for, not since we're at the topic of that, when it comes to Jaegers and Kaijus, the way some of them went out was pretty cool. I actually really like the first fight with the parents' Jaeger against this two-tailed kaiju, and they just shove the warhead into his mouth and then it explodes. I actually really do like some of the kaiju deaths in here.
Yeah, the kaiju kills are just kinda nuts sometimes. Like, I'm never going to forget seeing a guy get eaten by a kaiju and just his blood spraying from the kaiju's mouth.
I think this is a nice segue into the action segment of things. For the action, I'm kind of surprised that for a piece of junk, which is basically the training Jaeger, didn't lose a lot of parts in a lot of fights. Like, it was just getting, like, thrown around, pushed at, being ripped apart, and it still looked kind of pristine. Until it actually got an arm ripped off, and then, shit got real.
With talking about the Jaegers, fights...
We're talking about the action!
Yeah, well... let's talk about the beginning sequence with the action. We start with Striker Eureka, actually.
But why is he back? How is he back?
Clearly, they rebuilt the Jaeger.
Why would you rebuild? Why would you rebuild an inferior model? That's like rebuilding a Romeo Blue, a Mark 1 Jaeger, when you could just make, I don't know, a dozen Gypsy Avengers.
Are you complaining that Striker Eureka is back, my guy?
In terms of the universe and the lore and the way the Mark system works, it's weird. It's very strange.
The reason that I mean, we have Mark 3s around, which kind of just makes me assume, like, sometimes they just need to get Jaegers out, so they just throw a different mark in, like a lower mark. Like,
it sounds like a waste of money to me.
Like, if they, like, no, I mean, in terms of, like, if they have time constraints, you're not going to actually have that much time to build a more advanced Jaeger. Like, you're probably going to build one that's not as strong as one like Striker Eureka was in the first movie, or Saber Athena was in the second movie.
Oh, your wife wasn't in this. I'm surprised she wasn't.
Oh gosh, we're still on this joke.
If you made it this far in the video, hashtag MNastyX Saber Athena in the comments down below.
Do not do that.
Well, it's my video, you're not editing this, so
if you don't do that, I'll give you a cookie.
Anyways, what was I gonna say? Okay, listen, I still think that's kind of stupid. Like, I think it makes sense for the kaiju to clone their own kaijus because they have been shown to be able to do that. So making like 1,000 Slatterns and 1,000 Scunners, I can buy that. But doing that for the Jaegers, it's especially older models, for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, I think it might be an actual higher mark thing, because apparently the thing, I mean, I call it Striker Eureka because it looks exactly like Striker, but apparently the thing is actually called Striker. It's actually called Striker Berserker or something.
Oh wow, I'm surprised it's not called Striker Avenger or something like that.
No, that's not.
Actually, since we're in the topic of like the Jaegers, again, I say this before, but I don't like how the Jaegers are looking more and more like Gundams. Like, what I liked about the original Pacific Rim is that the robots looked very unique, like different from Transformers or like anything else that was about giant robots. Now it looks like they're trying to like do Gundam instead. Like, you can see a lot of the designs are very humanoid, they have that Gundam-esque kind of look. Especially,
I don't really watch Gundam, so I don't know. Actually, on the topic of the thing on the Jaegers, one's like Striker. I actually think the adaptation from movie to anime actually looks pretty good on Striker.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't disagree with that. Yeah, it looks fine. But still, I'm not a fan of these like very humanoid Jaeger designs. It's Transformers Age of Extinction all over again with the designs.
Yeah. Should we move into the new stuff category?
Actually, because we're pretty much talking about the new stuff already, so yeah, why not?
Alright, so let's think of some of the new things they've added to the universe. Kind of ghost drifting in a way. Ghost drifting is kind of a new thing. They
actually really expanded on the whole concept of drifting in this series, because in the movies you get a rough idea, but in here they really went in depth about it, and that was really nice for me.
Yeah, like they talk about this subject of ghost drifting, which is like drifting with the mind of another person, but they're not actually like there. It's like the memory of somebody who's already been connected to the drift or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Taylor picked Hercules Hansen.
Oh, and you can see the names of Pentecost and...
Yeah, we see Stacker, Pentecost, Hercules Hansen, and Raleigh Beckett. I honestly wanted him to pick Stacker Pentecost.
I also felt the same, but honestly,
yeah,
I'm kind of happy at the same time that they decided to not go full on with the references to the movies and stick to their little
There
corner in
are
the
a lot of
universe.
them,
There are a lot of them, but for the most
which
part,
we're gonna talk about in the universe section.
they do try and like do their own thing in Australia. Like a lot of the kaijus we see in there are, brand new, and so do most of the Jaegers.
It still should have been Slattern at that breach scene.
They would have gotten destroyed, to be honest.
Probably, but let's not talk about that right now. What the thing with ghost drifting is like, a lot of people have seemingly died from it. Like the AI Loa says, like, I can't remember the exact number, but there was a lot of people who tried to ghost drift, and literally just those 3 people have done it and survived. The only people who have survived a singular drift is Hercules Hansen in the scene we see, Stacker from Coyote and Onibaba, and Raleigh when he was fighting Knifehead.
Yeah.
It would have also been pretty cool to relive the Knifehead fight in an anime version.
It would have taken away from what was going on in the scene, so I understand why they didn't do it.
Yeah, I understand why they didn't do it, but it still would have been cool. I wonder what Knifehead would actually look like in this.
Probably not that good, to be honest. Like, a lot of the kaiju here, like, don't really impress me, so...
I mean, they got the images. Granted, they were only holographic images, and at the beginning there was, the black and white version of it, but they got kaiju like Slattern, Leatherback, Mutavore down pretty well.
Yeah. I guess. Also, speaking of which...
Also, wait,
yeah,
for the new stuff, we got a new... Okay, I've said something like this in the past to Fire, but I wasn't entirely... There wasn't that much proof to it, but I'd always thought that they dealt with certain versions of kaiju before, because they have names for them, like Knifehead, Onibaba, etc. Like, the fact that they know how this kaiju looks, and like how Knifehead is, and how like, what? Like, they couldn't have
fill it
just,
out
like,
nicely.
I'm stuttering a lot. I don't know why. But with kaiju like Otashi, Leatherback, Gunner, Slattern, like, did they just come up with these names on the spot, or do they see these kaiju before? They never make it clear, but
yeah.
This makes me kind of think that my theory of they've seen these kaiju before is correct, because when they were in the Kaiju and Jaeger graveyard, Loa talked about some kaiju breeds that she detected. She said leatherbacks, slatterns, and mutavores, which she said slatterns and mutavores plural, which makes me think, yeah, they repeat these types of kaiju.
Possibly, but if you go by the movies and just the movies, I don't think that's the case, because, I mean, the whole point of the first movie was the kaiju were adapting, and therefore, they were coming up with new, ways, like the Leatherback had the EMP, and Otachi had the wings, and Slatter was the first category 5.
Yeah, I might be wrong about them seeing these types before.
And also, if they had seen those types before, then why will in the first movie Newton say, "Hey, I think these guys are clones"? Okay, no shit. I mean, if you had seen two mutavores, then you already, assume they're clones.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was the case before, like the first and second movie, but now at least in the era of Pacific Rim the Black, like post-Uprising War, they repeat types of kaijus, because Lois says that she found different breeds, and she says breeds as in like these are certain different types of kaiju that we'll see on occasion, like leatherbacks, slatterns, and mutivores. So
I honestly don't think that's the case. I don't think they're... Well, maybe after Uprising, maybe they started something close,
I'm talking about after
before,
Uprising
I don't think
right
so.
now. I'm talking about Uprising, after Uprising right now.
Anyways, we'll be talking also about the universe, like, before we got to this segment, too.
Alright, so let's get to the universe.
I still don't get how breaches started opening up randomly. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be explained in Season 2. And while we're at it, now we have our first human kaiju hybrid with the boy. We should probably already talk about that.
How does that even work? How does that even work?
I mean, at the beginning, I knew the boy was like kind of a weirdo because he manages to survive being shot. But then he stops...
and I'm pretty sure it was in the head too.
Yeah, and then he stops Darth Maul from destroying Atlas Destroyer by holding out his fist.
Yeah, there's something... Yeah, it's pretty clear that there's something wrong with the kid.
Yeah, and then he just, out of nowhere, transforms into a kaiju.
Alright, so...
I'm not sure how to feel about that. Like, it feels like we're sort of going into...
because I don't understand how it works at all.
I feel like we're sort of like going from what was a bit more grounded to sort of a more sci-fi feeling with all of these more Gundam-looking Jaegers.
Well, I mean, then again, how grounded can you get with a portal at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean?
Sure, but the movies still
giant monsters after us.
The movies, well, the first movie, because Uprising sucked. The first movie still, like, tried to, you know, establish rules, like, hey, this is pretty grounded. We're not looking at space, we're looking inside the planet. But now we got all of these really advanced Jaegers and these Power Ranger-style humans that can turn giant into a giant monster. It seems a bit... I wouldn't say it's a bit too much yet. Maybe they could still justify it, but for now it's like, you are really gonna need to sell me on this idea. Because in the last episode, I don't think... I'm not sold on that yet, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the universe section, which is pretty much just references to the movies and the effect that this will have on the Pacific Rim universe. So, let's start with the references.
We had the obvious Darth Maul Jaeger.
Yeah,
Why is he red?
I don't know. I guess it was just part of the process where the Jaeger Kaiju hybrid got corrupted after it got its brains blown up. I still don't know how he survived that.
What's weird, you know, at the beginning I was thinking that maybe they could justify that as in, let's say, maybe this drone went around killing a bunch of kaiju, then the blood just happened to decorate his paint scheme. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but then I remember, wait, the kaiju have blue blood, that doesn't make any sense. Kind of a wasted opportunity.
Alright, so, let's start from the beginning with the references. There was... In the intro, we see, like, a bunch of kaiju and Jaegers from the... Well, maybe not a bunch, but we see a couple of Jaegers and kaiju from the last movies. Yeah. We see Slattern in the first shot, and then we're
not gonna go every single one of them, because I don't want to spend an hour editing this.
Well, I know, I'm just...
Basically, we see a lot of kaiju from the first movie, and I think we also see, a small reference to the Gypsy Danger pilots. I could be wrong, because, you know, it was all kind of like black and white,
when we saw Raleigh Beckett.
Yeah, so it was a bit hard to see at the beginning.
When we saw Raleigh Beckett's name in the ghost drifting scene, that's not that hard to catch.
No, I mean at the beginning, where we see all the silhouettes of the kaijus.
Oh yeah, I think... Well, when I saw the orange thing on the chest, I thought it was Gypsy, but I'm pretty sure that's just Stryker.
Oh, speaking of that orange thing on the chest, the parents as Jaeger also had it looked like the mix between Gypsy Danger and Stryker Eureka, like if they both had a child, and you just add the Coyote Tango blasters on the back.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they fired nukes instead of just normal rockets.
And they also had like the whole freezing beam thing, which also, while we're in the topic of that, I always wonder, what's the point of building the Jaegers if Striker Eureka's missiles can take down a Kaiju, and if you have guns on Jaegers that can freeze
Well, the
Kaiju?
Kaijus evolve. Remember, we gotta remember that the Kaijus evolve, and like,
Yeah, but
they
I mean,
might make it so that the Kaijus are less likely to get killed by those rockets.
yeah, but I mean, it seems like, yeah,
be
but
honest, I
in
wondered
universe
this.
they didn't know that. It seems like more expensive making this gun and then making a giant robot to use this gun instead of just making the gun itself and just firing it from a safe distance. It's kind of weird.
Plus, I imagine with every squad, with the whole Kaiju breeds repeat getting send out thing. I have a little headcanon where they just send one leatherback with each squad so that they can disable a Jaeger if they try and pull that Striker stuff with the rockets. That's my little headcanon.
As for the universe, what else? Well, Australia is now a wasteland. Wait, more than it already was, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm rating this 0 out of 10 because nobody in Australia was upside down.
Wait, are you looking at Google reviews right now?
No, I just thought of that joke myself.
Oh, wow, congrats, I'm nicely, wow.
Shut up! Alright,
People are gonna roast you in the comments down below.
yes,
I can
already
guarantee
know
you that.
That was granted from the second I agreed to do this video.
Yes. Technically, you forced me to make this video, but sure.
Well, you are the one who came up with the idea in the first place, so don't even.
Wow, listen, wow, guys, he's so
effects on the
ungrateful. He's very ungrateful.
I'm kidding.
Anyways,
Alright, we see in the Kaiju Jaeger graveyard, we see the remains of November Ajax, Valor Omega, and Titan Redeemer too.
Oh no, I cared about all of those Uprising Jaegers. How sad.
I mean, November Ajax wasn't that bad.
He's the only one I can tolerate. Everyone else fucking sucks and looks the same. Not to be racist.
Whoa, fire! Fire's being racist!
Okay, fine. All Transformers look the same. There, I said it. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to say it. Why was Horizon Brave there? Why would you make an inferior Jaeger this time?
No, apparently that's a new version called Horizon Bravo. I know, such a big difference, right?
I'm looking at the wiki right now, and yes, you're right. Striker Berserker, Horizon Bravo.
I mean,
why would
also,
you make an inferior novel?
I guess this kind of ties into effects on the rest of the world. Now we know that PPDC will recreate Jaegers that they've tried to use in the past, which means we can see.
We can pretty much see everyone come back. Cherno Alpha, just call it Cherno Omega in there. New Jaeger.
Crimson Typhoon, Crimson Hurricane.
Exactly. Also, some of these names.
Gypsy Avenger? Nah, Gypsy Revenger.
Oh god. I want to strangle you right now, nicely. Just for making that joke. Actually, let's talk real quickly about some of these names. Striker Berserker, seriously. Hunter Vertical.
Honestly, I'm under the mindset, if you're gonna recreate these Jaeger models, honestly, just rename them the same thing. Because that's what they are. Like,
actually, I cannot disagree
if you're
with that
gonna bring
it would be
Striker
way too
Eureka back,
confusing.
if you bring Striker Eureka back, just call it Striker Eureka.
I don't mind them bringing Striker Eureka back, but at least redesign it a bit more, or add a new color scheme to it, so at least we know it's not the same thing.
I'm pretty sure it was a darker black than the silver.
No,
I'm pretty sure it was like a darkish black instead of the silver that the first movie Striker had.
Yeah, it looked pretty much exactly the same. It's just the anime art style.
It could be the lighting, but I'm pretty sure that's like.
Okay, as for some of these other names, I guess the new guys have pretty cool names. I mean, Hunter Miracle, Marauder Zeus, Atlas Destroyer. I mean, they're pretty cool, but why would you give such a cool name to what's basically a training Jaeger?
Oh yeah, Marauder. Speaking of Marauder, when I look at that Jaeger, it literally looks exactly like Valor Omega, but like a different gun or something.
It has like these two giant guns at the side of its arms.
Yeah, which Valor Omega had the same thing. I'm pretty sure it was just a different kind of gun.
Not a fan of these post-uprising designs. Like, most of them, in my opinion, don't look that good. I can tolerate Hunter Miracle because it reminds me of Gypsy Avenger and Strike Eureka. But everyone else, well, I can also justify Atlas Destroyer because he's like supposed to be a training Jaeger, so you want him to be very basic.
Yeah, like I remember. Also, speaking of Atlas Destroyer, can we talk about that scene in the first episode where instead of helping the kids, Loa proceeds to troll them by giving them a fake illusion of them shooting rockets and killing the kaiju? What? Just giving the kaiju more time to run up and kill them.
Yeah. You know,
do your job, woman.
Listen, considering that in this anime, our only girls are underage lolly and edgelord, Loa is the best girl of this series, like confirmed. And she doesn't even have a body.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, oh, actually, speaking of that, the comedy in this series, I thought for the most part it was pretty well done. Like, it didn't went full, like, you know, Marvel humor, like Uprising. Yeah, Uprising was way too much.
They didn't go, like, even I'll admit the comedy in Uprising was a bit much.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to hear the Troll song when you're having a cool moment, like, when you're having a supposed to be cool moment with the Jaegers on jetpacks. I mean, that sounds cool in theory, but they put the Troll song.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which,
speaking of Uprising,
I'm still a little salty that, well, that the Jaegers, again, the way they look after Uprising, I feel like we're going into Gundam, and I feel like after that we're gonna go into space.
I mean, Jake did say that they were going to come for them, despite the fact that Australia then proceeded to get taken over. Like, that makes me laugh when I think about it. At the end of Pacific Rim Uprising, Jake just threatens the precursor, saying, "You don't have to worry about coming for us because we're gonna come for you." And then Pacific Rim the Black. Kaiju are coming for us, and they have taken over Australia. Jake,
well, it's just Australia.
Out the window now.
It's just Australia. Who needs Australia?
Yeah, the place that housed Striker Eureka, the best Jaeger in the first movie. Well, best canonically, my personal favorite was Crimson Typhoon. Speaking of him, when they got that arm.
I also thought it was Crimson Typhoon the first time I saw that.
Yeah, I saw the arm and I was like, is that Crimson's arm? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because they're in a Jaeger. They are in a Jaeger scrapyard, so a Jaeger scrapyard and a Kaiju graveyard. So it's plausible that it could have been Crimson Typhoon's arm, but they decided to not go with that.
I still don't know how to feel about the Darth Maul Jaeger hybrid. Like, he goes around killing kaiju and eating them, but he also goes around destroying Jaegers and killing
ripping Jaegers apart.
I mean, he's just such a weird character who, I don't know what his deal is.
I mean, I feel like the fact that we don't know what his deal is why I like him. It's just a mysterious.
I will be honest. I think out of all the Jaegers and Kaijus we've seen so far, I think this one is probably the scarier looking out of everyone.
And goes around, like, you see him ripping apart. Yeah, he's like the mercenaries and he's like what the mercenaries are in Transformers, at least with Lockdown and Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
he has no allegiance and will just kill either side.
I mean, he seems to have a weird connection with the boy, but what he does with him, it's
yeah.
weird.
How much you wanna bet he stays away from Slatterns because he knows he can't touch them?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with.
I bet like with how powerful Slattern was in the first movie, and how powerful Slattern was in the first movie, maybe Apex did try to go for one, but the Slattern just nearly killed him. So from then on out, Apex is just like.
Well, I'm nice. Now you're jumping into theories,
Slatterns.
and that's not the point of this video.
Yeah, it's true. But like, the point, really, it's just a cool idea that in the future with Pacific Rim we could see kaiju from past movies. Do you think they've put another Mega Kaiju out?
I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest. I mean, we could see... imagine a combination of Slattern, Scunner, and Leatherbag. Now, that's something that's possible now, because we got the mini kaiju.
Trio. That's a chaotic trio.
And we have the mini kaiju now, so I'm guessing that we could probably see another Mega Kaiju. Not the same, obviously.
If the precursors really want to win this war, I'm telling you, just send squads of Slatterns and Mega Kaijus, and you've got this in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's going on with the rest of the world. We just know that Australia is being Australia right now.
To be honest, I half expected in the ending, like, we'd see a Jaeger from the movies, like, we'd see Jake and Nate show up in, like, another model of Gypsy, kill Copperhead, and just take the characters back to the PPDC, but... they didn't do that, and I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, because that would just kind of be a cop-out.
Yeah, same. I'm guessing for Season 2, they're just gonna go to Sydney, because they said that everyone was trying to reach that place. So that's
yeah, but then again, it's 5 years later. By then, they're probably gonna be done with Australia and just trying to keep the kaiju out of other continents.
Yeah, probably. We'll see, I guess, what happens. But yeah, that's it for now, because this is like 40 minutes long.
Yeah, it's a long
M
video.
nicely doesn't know how to speed up. He doesn't know what pacing is.
I'm sorry! Don't bully me!
Anyways, anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Legendary Studios. Hashtag bring back Slattern.
You know, speaking of Legendary Studios, it's very possible that they might be teasing us to a future Pacific Rim / Godzilla / Kong crossover.
Yeah, I made this joke in the server of like, when, like, it was the thing with Jake saying, blah blah blah, we're gonna come for you.
Because, I mean, the way their ribs work is they're like a portal through space and time, so technically you could probably go somewhere else.
I made a joke in the server that's like Jake's thing, and then the precursors take over Australia, and then Jake's just like, we need Kong now more than ever.
Well, I guess the kaiju could be Kong, but I don't know about Godzilla, because Godzilla seems really overpowered to me.
I mean, if they wanted to beat Godzilla, they could always just send a squad of Slatterns and Mega Kaijus.
Maybe.
I'm telling you, that would be an effective way to get rid of Godzilla.
Probably. But anyways,
to be honest, it'd be an effective way to win the war. Like, just send the Slatterns and the Mega Kaijus. They're the strongest kaiju.
And humans, stop making inferior models like Horizon Brave and like Romeo Blue. Just make an army of Striker Eureka's or an army of Gypsy Avengers, and it will work just the same, if not better.
To be honest, if I had to choose 5 models of Jaegers that they could probably repeat.
No, I'm nicely. You're expanding the video, and I can't allow that. Now, give me right now your final verdict for this series. In a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this?
I actually really liked it. I'll give it a 9.
Oh, Guys, I'm not seeing Light on Rising, so his opinion is invalid. So you guys want my opinion, obviously. Okay, I was very disappointed with Transformers War for Cybertron in Netflix. So I had very low expectations for this series, so maybe that helped. Overall, I actually really did enjoy that, and at one point I just kept on watching because I was really curious to see where they take the story next. So it kept me entertaining, and I think it did its job. Apart from this still being connected to Uprising and some of the Jaeger and Kaiju designs, overall I think I like this series. I give it an 8.2 out of 10.
Wasn't even that far off from mine. You give
it a 9 out of 10. That's
because
quite
I
the difference.
genuinely really liked it. Not in the way I liked Uprising, with just the fights are cool.
I mean, sure,
but
you're giving it a 9 and not a 10 because Cybertron wasn't there.
Nah, that's not it. You stop with this stupid Cybertron joke.
Do you want me to ship you with the little sister then?
No.
Guys. What's better, shipping M nicely with Cybertron or shipping shipping M
I know
nicely
it's
with the
better
sister?
me taking a shotgun to you.
I'm gonna put a comment that comes down below, and I want you guys to both like for the sister, comment for Cybertron.
I genuinely hope that you get eaten by a kaiju. And to make it even worse, maybe the baby Yotashi. Because
I muted him nicely. Anyways, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna have to go unmute them nicely now. Bye, guys. Anyways, guys, before we go, shout out to our amazing Patreons: TrueBlue712, Stitch Productions, Stephanie Ballard, Christopher Prime, Predicting Hunter Plays, Mario Gordon, Allspark Studios, Scrub Lord, a huge shout out to the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100, and to our even big boss patron, xNooter23, who donated what I can only describe as a amount of money. I'll leave you guys to figure out how much. Thank you guys for your donation. It's very much appreciated by me and Squeaker, even though Squeaker is way too lazy to thank you. I tip my fedora in gratitude and put on my supreme gentleman hat in your honor. Link to our Patreon and the channels will be in the description down below for you guys to check out. Some of them do Transformers content, some of them do their own little thing, funny moments, their own animations. There's quite a diverse range of content here, so if you ever feel interested in checking other people out, check these guys. And if you guys want to shout out your subs, all you gotta do is donate to our Patreon. If you donate to our Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You get a shout out in my videos, you can collab with me in some of my videos if you so choose to, request your own videos, exclusive roles in my Discord servers, there's plenty more coming. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. But keep in mind that it's entirely optional because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Anyways guys, thank you guys so much for donating, it's much appreciated. If you guys want to donate, you know what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe guys.